Now the first thing I've done, I've trimmed down a piece of the background paper here, printed out in vellum, and I folded it in half, and I've trimmed also an A5 card down so that this fits over here perfectly. So I'm going to just wrap that around there and stick it down as the beginning of the card. And I've also stuck on the inside of the card there a matching insert there, but using the different pattern. Again, I've used it in the vellum effect. So now there's the outside of my card, and that's the front there. Now I've also printed out onto some acetate another insert, but I'm going to use it as an outsert this time, and I've just creased it there, so I'm going to stick that down the edge there, and I've also printed the same design so it goes over the top here, and you can see it fading into the darker image at the back, so they overlap perfectly. Now I've taken the first part of the decoupage here, and I've cut it out, and I've even cut the centre bits out here, and I've put it down on the front of the card there, and over the top there will go the acetate, and then I've cut out all the other pieces precisely ready to go over the top. So all I have to do now, double-sided foam pads on the back, just line this up like so. Let me get this right. There you go, turn it the right way around to help, wouldn't it? And then just put that directly over the top onto the acetate, so you can see you're building up on the outside now like that, and then just keep adding the other pieces step by step. You don't always have to stick the pieces directly over the top. You can just add extra leaves if you want to do that. And there's your finished card like that, so it opens up and you can see right through to the insert, and I think that looks fantastic. Now the first thing I've done, I've taken the large stained glass effect design here and printed out an insert, but onto some thick shiny card. So I folded it in half like that, and now it can become an outsert of a card, and you've got a natural frame here for the design. And as you can see, you can put an insert inside there to match. And here's one that I've printed out ready to go inside. Now I've cut out all the decoupage section here ready to go on the card. Now you don't have to use all these pieces. I'm going to save that one just for a card on its own. This one I'm going to use on the insert, and then these I'm going to put on the outside of the card. So when you see the decoupage and that, don't just go, you know, the normal way of doing it. Just think, how can I use this? How many things can I get out of this? So the first thing I've done, I've taken the oval passion flower and just stuck that down on the insert of the card there, so it's nicely framed, and I can also put a peel off there or a small little tag, whatever I want to do. And now I've taken the next section and I've stuck that this time on the outside of the card. Now I've got even more options here. Now I can take all the pieces that I've cut out, put foam pads on the back, and I can just go straight over the top and make it a normal decoupage, or I can use these pieces to build up another section overlapping, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave this quite flat here, but then all these other sections here I'm just going to put over the top like that and build up. So I've got more of a 3D effect going on here, and then that one can go on there. And then I could put a little sentiment here if I want to, but then you've got a beautiful card using that stained glass effect. But again, you don't have to follow the exact design that you've been given. You can just play around with it and do whatever you want. Now the first thing I've done, I've taken some of the paper here, printed it onto card, nice shiny card in a vellum effect, fold it in half, trim the edges off, and I've got a nice card to start on. And what I'm going to do, there's the front. Now if I turn this open like that, I'm taking the design, the main design, I'm going to position that on the inside of the card and just draw around it. So there you can see the inside, you can see the square there. Now I'm just going to take my ruler and I want to stick the acetate down, so I'm just going to make the aperture a little bit smaller but leave enough room to cut it all the way around. So I'm just taking my ruler and making another line just on the inside there, and then I'm going to cut that out. And there you can see I've done the first rectangle, then I've just done another line just on the inside that will allow me enough space there to actually stick the acetate down on the back of the inside of the card. And now take a steel ruler and a craft knife and carefully cut out the centre of the aperture there. And there you can see I've cut out the centre of the aperture, so I get that lovely card there, and then this I'm just going to stick on the inside of the aperture there to create like a kind of stained glass window effect. And I'm just going to use my glue pen to stick that down on the inside there. Just run your glue pen around it and stick the acetate down. And I've also printed the insert onto some lovely pearlescent paper. Now it's double-sided pearlescent, so you get that lovely pearlescent look there, as you can see. So when I close the card up, I've got pearlescent on the back there, which will show through and look really good over the underneath there. And now from the acetate printer, I've taken all the pieces and I've cut them out step by step. And I've got some silicone glue here as well, and I'm going to stick the pieces together with just a few blobs of the silicone glue. And try to put the blobs of glue into areas where they're going to blend into the design. And I'm just doing them in the centre of the flowers there and just at the bottom of the stalks on the vase. So this will keep them nicely separated apart, but you'll also see they'll dry nice and clear, so you'll get that decoupaged effect, but using the acetate. Now I've applied my silicone to this piece, and all I have to do now is just gently lay it over the top. Don't press down because you want to create a stained glass effect, but not too flat. And also you'll find wherever you add in the extra bits, the colours will intensify and it'll grow more and more deeper. So you're building up now the decoupage effect in the acetate on the outside of the card. And now I'm taking the next layer. Now it's a good idea sometimes to let this dry a bit in between, so you're not pressing it down and it's going to look too flat. Just give it time to dry so it keeps its depth. And just gently lay it down, don't press it down, you don't want it to look too flat. And just keep building up the layers gently, layer at a time. And I've just taken one of the small flowers there and stuck it on the bottom corner of the card. So when you use silicone the whole of the card, all you've got to do is just put that to one side to let it dry hard. And as the silicone will stay clear, you've got that wonderful 3D effect, stained glass effect.